Good day. Welcome to the UBS shareholders presentation. Today we're going to brief you on the situation surrounding the regulatory and compliance concerns that arose following an investigation of Malaysian politician Musa Aman and his use of UBS accounts for questionable transactions.
Thank you, Hadia. I'm gonna introduce the Malaysia culture and the person who's related to situation Musa Aman. Malaysia always has less transparency from government, and the government is operating within constitutional monarchy. So the federal or central government is the ultimate authority. This is also the main reason why there's no explanation was given from the government at the end of the case. Musa Aman is the chief minister of Sabah state of Malaysia, the brother of Malaysian foreign minister. He is also the head of the rainforest deforestation project, chairman of a firm that grants rights to operate in Malaysia, and most importantly, he is the member of the governmental group UMNO, which is an organization involved in the case. The actual crisis was happened around 2005 and 2006. It went on court at late 2008 when the Brunner Mansur Fund accused UBS of having corruption, but it actually went to public in 2012 when the mass media heavily reported the situation. Musa is being accused of having laundered over $90 million of corruption proceeds through a number of bank accounts with UBS in Hong Kong and Zurich. In April 2012, the Swiss Federal Office of Justice confirmed that Switzerland has given legal assistance to Hong Kong authorities over Musa's tie with UBS. The next slide is going to explain how the prosecutor did the investigation process for the case on Michael Chia and Richard Christopher Barnes. The chart is going to explain how the money transferred through several banking accounts. So Michael Chia, he's the business person who's in charge of to make the small business like CTF International and Zinnick Investment to transfer the money to the account to Richard Christopher Barner. He is the Malaysian lawyer to Musa Aman, and he's the actual account holder of those amount of money, hundreds of $millions from those small business owners. But later on, Richard Christopher Barner, he's transferred those amount of money to the account of Musa Aman. In other words, Musa Aman is the actual account holder of those amount of money. The case was closed in 2013 after 3 years since late 2008. Believe it or not, Musa Aman was cleared out, which assumed not guilty. Like I mentioned before, UMNO is important because money was assumed to be donation to UMNO instead of bribery. No explanation was given from Malaysian government. No one can really judge on them because they are the head of the justice. And also the chart I put on the slide shows the price per share of UBS stock. In the past 5 years, it clearly shows that around 2012, the price went down. And because of the election of 2013, Malaysia government shifted the focus from bribery to election, which bounced back the price afterwards. Now, Erica Diaz, the CEO of UBS, gonna introduce the effect of the situation.
Thank you, Sky. We have faced short and long-term effects, and it's difficult for a bank to build and maintain reputation, and its worldwide clients have lost trust in UBS' ability to protect their privacy because of the money laundering crisis. UBS had to pay out millions in settlement fees. They lost wealthy foreign customers, and this will affect UBS' attraction for wealthy clients. Consequently, there was loss of confidence in UBS. And as a result, customers withdraw money. The image of the company was damaged, and they lost of customers due to unethical behaviors. Now, I'm introducing my colleague Ingrid Diaz, the Global General Counsel of UBS, who is going to discuss how the crisis could have been prevented.
Thank you, Erica. The crisis could have been prevented if UBS should have developed policies to detect and report money laundering. These policies are monitored by the UBS's Global Executive Board Group. As well, the Global Anti-Money Laundering helps to prevent and face the illegal transactions of any suspicious money movement. It also includes laws and regulations which helps to identify and report such transactions. These transactions are easy to manage, identifying the customer by checking the amount of their monthly transaction, keeping records on withdrawals and deposits as well as reporting the dubious activities and substantial increase in funds. For instance, when large withdrawals were done and transferred from bank to bank. Having these policies, UBS should have been aware about the illicit movement of money through bank accounts and avoiding the financial crime committed. In addition, UBS senior executives should have known how to use anti-money laundering compliance more strategically as a tool to manage risk. The strong anti-money laundering processes have the potential to improve knowledge and coordination across departments. These policies need to be reinforced and applied to every client to avoid illegal activities. Our CEO is going to explain how the scheme of laundering works.
The model represents a typical money laundering scheme which lays out as a placement, layering, and integration. The layering is a transfer of the bank account of company X. It goes into the wire transfer, then offshore bank, then loan to company Y, and finally the payment of company Y to company X. The last step is the integration, where purchase of the luxury assets are financial investments.
Thank you, Erica. And now let us know how the crisis could have been managed better.
Since the first signal of corruption or transactions of big amounts of money, the corporate responsibility management should have opened an investigation and make sure that any transactions made through each account is legal. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission received a copy of the money flowing in from Chia's account into Barner's UBS holding account in Hong Kong, but nothing happened, meaning the case didn't go further because, as Sky mentioned, Musa Aman was a politician and his brother was the foreign minister of Malaysia. As mentioned before, some policies are created to protect and prevent money laundering. As CEO of the UBS, I consider that we need to train our employees by providing online training, awareness, doing campaigns and seminars within a 2-year period to highlight the importance of the anti-corruption policies. The Global General Council will explain the corporate responsibility, governance, and structure.
Thank you, Erica. The corporate governance structure is divided in 5 groups, which are divided into 4 different levels. The most relevant levels to our crisis are the Board of Directors and the Global Executive Board. The Board of Directors is in charge of maintaining sustainability and good reputation, achieving its obligation with shareholders and stakeholders. And the Global Executive Board is responsible for the development of UBS Group and its business division strategies. Now, I'm going to introduce you Hadija Bobit. She is our Chief Strategy Officer who is going to inform you about our recommendations for new control initiatives.
Thank you. I'm going to wrap up the issue and present you with our recommendation as well as apprise you of how we're moving forward. At the core of the issue here is a problem faced by all private banking financial institutions operating in or having clients from nations with high levels of corruption. As we heard at the start of our presentation, the situation involved a great deal of interference on the governmental level in Malaysia. While cases such as these create issues for the image and faith in the firm, the greatest failings in this case fall with the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission. We know that the existing system of internal controls works. This is evidenced by the initiation of the inquiry by UBS Hong Kong and the Hong Kong Independent Commission Against Corruption. However, The inter-country investigation was blocked by the Attorney General in Malaysia, while the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission took no further action. UBS is committed to its clients from every corner of the globe and equally committed to maintaining the highest standard in private banking while adhering to all local laws. We understand the importance of maintaining effective anti-money laundering compliance procedures in today's rapidly changing financial and economic environment. Therefore, in efforts to enhance our existing controls, we recommend launching an Anti-Money Laundering Global Initiative Task Force. The Anti-Money Laundering Global Initiative Task Force will be responsible for reinforcing existing policies and procedures. Strong anti-money laundering compliance programs are in place. Customers are identified, accounts are monitored for suspicious activity, there is high scrutiny on foreign correspondence accounts, due diligence on private banking accounts, and mandatory information sharing when required by law to law officials. Standardize best AML practices across units globally. We will continue to apply the highest standards of monitoring and control in all branches with special attention on countries with high corruption indexes as well as individuals with ties to those high index countries. We are in the process of developing an internal uniform method of identifying and tracking all flagged transactions. Additionally, we will have a dedicated individual responsible for partnership with anti-corruption commissions and regulatory bodies to foster more fluid communication for more efficient and effective resolution of events. We recommend a centralized in-house anti-money laundering system across the global network for all branches, entities, and subsidiaries. This will unify the various legal and compliance teams across the globe which may have AML functions that are outsourced. Finally, we are initiating a new requirement for chief risk officers and chief compliance officers in each entity and branch to ensure that responsible parties are aware of and can speak to the status of each event that required escalation to regulatory authorities. The execution of this new strategy will take place over several quarters, but will ultimately emerge as an industry standard. An initiative of this magnitude requires coordination and development of policies, procedures, and systems. The AML Global Task Force will then train teams in each local branch to lead the initiative on a local level. As we turn the corner, UBS emerges with more stringent controls, able to focus on strengthening its core business. The bank's strength has allowed it to weather the event without diminishing shareholder value. We anticipate this new initiative will achieve the balance of some of our most important goals, providing the private banking services our clients depend on, ultimately maintaining growth in shareholder value, and the Anti-Money Laundering Initiative Task Force result will be stronger controls, better protection, and high value for all stakeholders. Thank you for joining us today. We will now open the floor for questions.